Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Shtotara Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru Garanga. All glories to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. And we can almost close the door because there is lots of noise out there. Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, verses 18 to 23. Just before reading them, I want to say something about the beginning of the chapter. So, the main topic in the third canto is the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, and different topics are discussed. We were hearing very extensive explanations of the creation of the universe, how the time is passing in the different places in the universe, all these things. Now, gradually the topic comes about praja, or the appearance of the living entity. So after we have creation, gradually living entity starts appearing in the universe, mainly through the empowerment of Brahma, the first living entity. And here we have a discussion about Swayambhuva Manu, who appeared, and he had the mood of being very submissive to his father and ready to perform his duty, to do whatever his father wants. Brahma, the first living entity, is the father of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu is, we could say, one of the great personalities, kings in the universe. He is in charge for giving the laws for the mankind, and also he is in charge for protecting the mankind, especially the humans. So So Swayambhuva Manu, he was ready to do whatever Brahma wants him to do. Now, before that, other example was given about the 4 Kumaras, who are also sons of Brahma. And when Brahma asked them to follow his instructions to get married and basically bring progeny for the universe, they refused. And the spiritual masters, the acharyas, they're explaining that both were correct. Both the attitude of the 4 Kumaras and Swayambhuva Manu, both were correct. Why? Because 4 Kumaras, they disobey the order of their father for a higher purpose in order to make spiritual advancement and help many living entities in the universe to make spiritual advancement. And Swayambhuva Manu, he agreed with the desire of Lord Brahma to help in the population of the universe, which was also very noble cause. So both of them were right, although one apparently was acting in an agreeable way and the 4 Kumaras not like that. So now Swayambhuva Manu, in the beginning of this chapter, is offering prayers to Brahma, glorifying his potencies, his glories, his purity, and then he's asking, so what is my duty now? What do you want me to do? And Brahma is explaining to Manu what is his duty: to help with the progeny in the universe and to take care for the praja, or for the living entities in the universe, to protect them so that they can perform nicely their duties. So now in these verses a problem appears. What is the problem? The problem is that when a certain duty is given to you, certain set of facilities also should be given so that you can perform your duty. Like, for example, your duty is accountant. Okay, that means you should have a place where to do it. We should have certain, let's say, a computer, or at least a like notebook and a pencil, something to be able to do it. So to be able to perform your duty, you need certain facilities. Now, Swayambhuva Manu, he is seeing a problem why he cannot perform his duties. Let's just read a little bit. So just the previous few verses, they said, verse 14, Shri Manu said, O powerful Lord, O killer of all sins, I shall abide by your order. Now please let me know my place and that of the living entities born of me. So, okay, I'll do the job. Where can I stay? I need a little bit facilities to be able to do it. Text 15. O master of the demigods, please attempt to leave the earth, which is merged in the great water, because it is the dwelling place for all living entities. It can be done by your endeavor and by the mercy of the Lord. So now what is the problem? Problem is that suddenly the earth went under the water of the great ocean, Garbhodaka ocean. Half in the universe, according to the Vedas, is full with water, and the planets are above this water. So now suddenly there was some calamity for some reason. The earth went under the water. So now where the living entities are going to live, we have a problem. Okay. And Srila Prabhupada is saying the great water mentioned in this connection is the Garbhodaka ocean, which is filling half of the universe. Text 16, Sri Maitreya said, thus seeing the earth merge in the water, Brahma gave his attention for a long time to how it could be lifted. So Brahma started meditating because apparently it was a very difficult task. If it was something very easy, he could just do it immediately. Yeah? Okay, I have to, my duty is to drive the car, but I don't have the keys. Give me the keys. Okay, no problem. Here, go. It's very easy. But let's say I have to drive the car, but the engine is broken. Okay, now we have a serious problem. Now we really have to think what to do about this. So apparently in the universe, there was a serious problem. And Brahma had to seriously think what to do, and he doesn't know. He doesn't have an answer, practical answer. So that's why sometimes some authorities are saying that here in this pastime of Varahadev, when it is said the earth doesn't mean our earth planet, because that's, I guess, not so difficult job for Brahma, just to get some small planet and to move it. But it's meant the whole earth disk, half of the universe. We have this huge piece of land. It's called Bhumandala, which is coming from one side of the universe to the other. It's something huge. And apparently this thing, it went under the water. Now, if this thing went down or if the water went up, one of the two, we don't know exactly, but somehow earth was under the water. So Brahma was thinking what to do. Text 17, Brahma told, while I have been engaged in the process of creation, the earth has been inundated by a deluge and has gone down into the depths of the ocean. What can we do who are engaged in this matter of creation? It is best to let the Almighty Lord direct us. And a good practical lesson from this for us is Brahma, he had to deal with a certain situation, and there was a problem. And by seeing that he is unable to deal with the problem immediately, he tried to get the help of the Supreme Lord. So when we have problems in our life, that's the best thing to do. Just ask for the help of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. Also very good lesson for the managers who had to deal constantly with problems. The job of a manager is there are problems to be solved. So it's not an easy service. And sometimes we can deal very easily with these problems, but sometimes we cannot find any practical solution. And then the only help is Krishna. There is no one else. Especially when it comes with problems with people. Problems with things, they are easily to be solved. Because, okay, we don't have something, okay, we'll order it. We have something, okay, we'll throw it out. It's easy. You just deal with it. But now when it comes to people, it becomes very complicated because people protest, definitely. Sometimes they protest. But there are many things happening at the same time. For example, there is the logical thing, what it should be done, what we have to do. That's the most logical in this situation. But then the emotions of the person. If we do the most logical things, he'll become angry or he'll become upset. And then what we're going to do? So we have another problem. So this makes the solving problems connected with people more difficult. And sometimes we don't know how to solve them. And the only help is Krishna. So this is one lesson that we can get from Brahma. Pious people, when they have problems in life, they turn to God. Impious people, when they have problems in life, they start disbelieving even more in God. Because they think, oh, then what's the job of God? His only job is to solve my problems. So why he's not solving them? I don't need him. He doesn't exist. There is opposite reaction. So we should have this intelligence in such situations to act in this way, to ask for the help of Krishna. And Krishna will help. If he's helping Brahma to solve such a great problems, why not helping us to solve our tiny, small problems? Just sometimes the solution that Krishna is giving may not be exactly according to our vision, because our vision is the vision from our side. But many things are happening at the same time, and Krishna somehow or rather should manage that everybody is more or less happy. So sometimes the solution that is coming from our perspective may not be very good, but we should accept the philosophy that whatever Krishna is doing at the end of the day is the best for everybody. So, okay. That's why we see sometimes often the Sankirtan devotees who are very experienced, who are training day after day to be connected with Krishna, because when you are on the street with the books, actually this is what you have to do. The very experienced Sankirtan devotees are saying the one thing we have to do is we should not stay on the way of Krishna distributing the books. So basically you just have to be conscious what you have to do so that you are not a problem on the way of distributing the books. So you have to be all the time constantly conscious about Krishna. And when Krishna does some arrangement, generally the Sankirtan devotee is trying to see it from a positive perspective immediately. Okay, somehow or other this arrangement of Krishna, let's say he's distributing books and some authority is coming saying, get out of here. He's not saying, who are you to tell me to get out of here? Do you know I'm representative of Lord Chaitanya? You have a problem with me? He's not acting in this way. He's saying, okay, you want me to go? Okay. Anyway, they were not taking so many books here. I guess this arrangement of Krishna to go someplace where they'll take more. So a devotee is always trying to see the arrangement of Krishna from the positive side. That, okay, this is for good. If Krishna is arranging this, it's for good. So in this situation, Brahma is seeking for the help of Krishna. And now we are coming to text 18. Translation. O sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. The measurement of the creature was not more than upper portion of a thumb. Text 19. O descendant of Bharata, while Brahma was observing him, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation, as gigantic as a great elephant. So can you imagine you are trying to solve some problem and suddenly something is coming out of your nose? I mean, definitely the pastimes of Krishna are amazing. Huh? Inconceivable, achintya. Who think that if Krishna is going to appear, he will appear from the nose of someone? But Krishna, he likes to have fun. He likes to enjoy. And from an extremely small personality, immediately he became as gigantic as an elephant. So that was amazing. Text 20. Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful boar-like form in the sky, Brahma, with great brahmanas like Marichi, as well the Kumaras and Manu, began to argue in various ways. Text 21. Is this some extraordinary entity come in the pretense of a boar? It is very wonderful that he has come from my nose. Text 22. First of all, this boar was seen no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and within a moment he was as large as a stone. My mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu? Srila Prabhupada is giving a purport. Since Brahma is the supermost person in the universe and he had never before experienced such a form, he could guess that the wonderful appearance of the boar was an incarnation of Vishnu. The uncommon features symptomatic of the incarnation of Godhead can bewilder even the mind of Brahma. So basically, situation happened and Brahma was thinking, I never saw such kind of creature. I mean, I know everything in the universe. I know everything about creation, but such a creature I never saw. What is this? And now we are going to read what is the answer of the incarnation of Krishna, Vishnu. Text 33. Iti mimam satastasya. Iti mimam satastasya. Brahmana sahashunubhi. Brahmana sahashunubhi. Bhagavan yagya purusho. Bhagavan yagya purusho. Jagar Jagendra Sanibha. Jagar Jagendra Saniba Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahashunubi Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagar Jagendra Shanibha Iti Mimam Sakastasya
Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagendra Samhita Iti
Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahashrunubhi Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagar Jagendra Sanibha Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahashrunubhi Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagar Jagendra Sanibha
Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahasunibi
Brahmana Sahashrunibhi
Bhagavan Yagya Purusho
Bhagavan Yagya Purusho
Jagendra Samhita
Jagar Jagendra Sanibha Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahashrunibhi Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagar Jagendra Sanibha Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahashrunibhi Bhagavan Yagya Purusho Jagai Jagendra Shanibha Iti. Thus, Mimamsata, while deliberating, Tasya, his, Brahmana, of Brahma, Saha, along with, Shunibi, his sons, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Yagya, Lord Vishnu, Purusha, the Supreme Person, Jagarja, resounded, Aga Indra, great mountain, Shanibha, like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. While Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, roared tumultuously like a great mountain. Purport. It appears that great hills and mountains also have their roaring power because they are also living entities. In the purports of Srila Prabhupada, one can find amazing information. The volume of the sound vibrated is in the proportion to the size of the material body. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of the Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. Magyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first I want to address a little bit the purport directly. And the statement of Srila Prabhupada that it appears that the great hills and mountains also have their roaring power because they are also living entities. So generally we don't think as the hills or the mountains as a living entities, yes? And it's amazing information that they are living entities. And not only that, but they have the power to speak. They have the power to roar. So we can say this is a little bit esoteric information. Many people will say, oh, how do we know this is true? It's not proven scientifically. And yes, in the Vedas, we can find many, many things that they apparently are not proven scientifically. Actually, they are, but through a different scientific process, not to our experimental process of the modern science. So if we want to be a serious students of the Vedas, we will meet many, many such statements that can sound amazing for us or even fantastic. But what is the problem that these things are facts? How much do we know about this universe? How much do we know about this world? Our capacity to knowledge is very, very small, very unlimited. So we should try to invest our faith in the statements of Shastra. This is very important principle in spiritual life. So now some people, they may come and they may say, oh, I don't believe this, what is written in the Vedas or this one. Well, often my practical answer to such a people is, okay, let's go through the Vedas. Let's find something which is very practical and works in our day-to-day life. For example, what about meditation? Is meditation described in Shastra? Yes. Do we do meditation? Generally, we do. So, do we see a positive effect from the meditation? Yes. So that means it's working. Yes. Or like, let's say we can take the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, description of the 3 modes of material nature. Is this a practical knowledge? Is it? Can we use it in our practical life? That you live in Sattva Guna or you live in Rajaguna and you live in Tamaguna, and certain things will happen in your life. Like, for example, if you live in Sattva Guna, you see your mind will be very peaceful. You'll be very happy by nature. Sattva sanjayate gyanam, sattvam sukhat sanjayate. These are the qualities of Sattva Guna, knowledge and happiness. So if we live in Sattva Guna, we will be knowledgeable, we will be happy. Now, if we live in Rajaguna, what is the result from Rajaguna? Strong material desires which lead to misery and suffering. So do we have this experience that people with strong material desires, this lead them to suffering? Or the result from Tamaguna is madness, illusion, foolishness, inertia, and sleep. Do we see that practically? Like people, they are very much into intoxication or drugs. Sometimes they are sleeping 12, 14 hours and they get off and they think, oh, I feel so tired. Of course you feel tired because you're in Tamaguna. It's a very practical knowledge, what Vedas are giving us. Is Ayurveda a practical thing? Can you cure your problems through Ayurveda? Yes, we can do that. So many practical things we find in Shastra. If these things are true, why not other things to be also true? What's the problem? Why the Vedas? Veda is generally known as our mother. Shastra is known as our mother. Mother always wants the best for the child. So if our mother is telling us something that is very practical and good for us, why the other thing that is telling us is not for our good, it's not for our benefit? So in this way, we should have faith in Shastra. We should invest our faith in Shastra. And if sometimes something really doesn't make sense to our mind, okay, don't worry about it. Just leave it for later. Just deal with the things that you understand, things which are practical for you. And if you don't understand something, Like sometimes devotees, they are asking, but how exactly we fell down from the spiritual world? Well, maybe now we are still not completely ready to grasp it, to get it, to understand it. Like, for example, sometimes Srila Prabhupada is giving the example, 2-year-old child come and is asking, okay, maybe not 2, but 3, 4-year-old child is coming and is asking his father and mother, so how the babies appear on this world? And generally they are saying, oh, one birth is bringing them. Because they cannot understand. It's not the time. With the time, gradually, naturally, they'll understand. So there are things that now we are not ready to understand in Krishna consciousness. Our limit is not so much grown up yet. But if we're just patient, if we just park these topics, the time will come when it will be very obvious. It will be very easy to understand. So we just have to have some patience. Now, why to have faith in Shastra is so important? Why to accept what is given in Shastra, although sometimes it may look a little bit too much for us? It's important to be able to accept it. Well, because our acharyas, Srila Rupa Goswami is explaining in Nectar of Devotion, also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining in Madhurya Kadambini, in order to practice pure devotional service, you need a pure faith. It should not be a mixed faith. It should be pure faith. And this pure faith is the faith which is based on Shastra. Now, if our faith is mixed with many our concepts or desires for personal benefit, this makes us qualified to render service to God, but not pure selfless service. This faith won't help us to perform a pure devotional service. Why? Well, it's very simple. If you don't have full faith in Shastra, that if you do now devotional service, later you'll go to a place which is much better, you won't have problems, and you can have fun with Krishna in the spiritual world, why you're going to do the endeavors? Rather, if you don't have this complete full faith, you'll say, maybe if I do this now, yes, maybe I'll go to the spiritual world, but maybe not. So if not, then I'll be a loser. So, okay, let me make the situation in such a way that I can kind of work for my ultimate solution of the problems, my going to the spiritual world, but at the same time, let me take care for my position here. If it happened that there is no spiritual world and there is no Krishna, I won't lose because I'm working on both at the same time. So because we don't have a complete faith, we are not ready to completely give ourselves for the service of the Lord. Then we'll try to make some kind of combination, some kind of system. Okay, 10 hours for Krishna, 10 hours for me, or 12 hours for Krishna, 12 hours for me, whatever, some kind of system. There'll be something for the Lord, there'll be some service for Krishna, but also I have to take care for myself. Because if I don't take care for myself, who take care for me? We don't have faith. What Shastra is saying that don't worry, you just do service to Krishna, Krishna will take care of you. We don't have this faith. So that's why we become qualified for mixed devotional service, not for pure devotional service. So the basis of the whole serious advancement in Krishna consciousness is, the foundation is this pure faith. The faith that whatever Shastra is saying, it's the best thing that we can do. We should have this faith. Then it will be easy, very easy, our spiritual advancement, and it will be extremely fast. Like sometimes we are reading this kind of examples in Shastra that someone just joined and started practicing the process of devotional service, and after 1 week he was on the level of Bhava, completely ecstatic and dancing whole night for the pleasure of Krishna. And after 3 weeks, a Vimana came from the spiritual world and just said, okay, you're qualified. Let's go to the spiritual world. How is this possible? Well, these cases are for people who had this complete faith. Their faith was so strong that there was nothing else. They just said, okay, that's it. I surrender completely. Nothing else. Just Krishna. And then the process starts acting very, very fast. Now, the other situation is we read, we think about it, but at the end, our conclusion is yes, but no. Yes, I'll surrender, but not completely, because just in case. We never know what will happen. And we have the middle situation where someone theoretically accepts that, yes, pure devotional service is the ultimate goal, and I completely will surrender to pure devotional service. But when it comes to the practical life, he doesn't do what he has to do. So that his philosophy doesn't match his practice. There is still difference between the two. And that's why the process is working fast, but not super fast. So it takes more time. For example, one lifetime. Srila Prabhupada wanted us after this lifetime to go back to the spiritual world. Many times he was saying this thing. So why I was saying this? That's a good question. Because yes, like in Jaiva Dharma, we have the example of Vaishnava Das, who was a very sincere seeker of the truth, and he went to Varanasi, and for 10 years he was studying Shastra, Sanskrit, Nyaya in Varanasi, and he took sannyas, and he was extremely strict in his vows and everything. And then after completing his studies, and he was completely focused on the impersonal concept about the absolute truth, Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya. He was meditating, and he gradually went to the place known as Navadvip. And one day he was just sitting on the street, meditating and begging some alms. And then suddenly a Vaishnava passed by. And this Vaishnava in ecstasy was chanting, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. And when this Vaishnava passed close to him, he felt some emotions, some sentiments, some feelings that he never felt before. And he said, how is possible? How is possible? I am already completely established above all kinds of emotions and feelings, because I am situated on the level of Brahman. I'm completely equipoised to all material emotions, feelings, and emotions and feelings, they are material. That was his philosophy. But now suddenly this Vaishnava passed by, and he felt such emotions that he never felt before. And these were not material, because he cannot be influenced by any material emotions. So in his mind there was dilemma. How is this possible? What are these kind of emotions? He was so attracted, he wanted immediately to stand up and ask this Vaishnava, who are you and where are you coming from? But because of still some traces of false ego, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And then he was regretting so much. Why didn't do it immediately? Where am I going to find now this person? And then he started asking around, who are these people that are walking around like crazy people and dancing and singing? And they thought him, these are like the Babajis. They are on the other island of Godrum. Just go there, you'll find them. And then he crossed the river, went, found these people, Vaishnavas. At that time, the tradition was that Vaishnavas, they were not really preachers. There was not organized preaching movement. They were rather practicing for themselves, and they were experiencing the nectar, the ecstasy of spiritual life. And if someone was coming to them to ask them about the mercy, about spiritual knowledge, they were very merciful in giving to him. But they were not really traveling a lot and just trying to, what is the English word? What is that? I don't know, listen. Outreach. There was another very specific word Srila Prabhupada sometimes is using, to canvas. They were not canvassing for new members. Yes. So he went there and he surrendered, and Java Dharma is saying that just for a few weeks, he reached the level of Baba. 3 days. Okay. For 3 days. And what is the explanation? Why? Well, because his heart was already very pure. He didn't have to fight with all these anarthas, with all these doubts. Do I have to surrender to the process? But how much to surrender? How much for Krishna? How much for me? There was no such kind of dilemma in his mind. He just said, okay, that's it. Full focus, full determination, nothing else. And then the result came very fast. So if we have this complete faith that whatever Shastra is saying, then we are qualified for pure devotional service. And then the result will come very fast. It may be 3 days, it may be 3 weeks, it may be one lifetime, but this is very fast. One lifetime is very fast. So that's why we should have faith in what Shastra is saying. Even sometimes it may look a little bit strange. Like, for example, if some man comes now in the temple and says, so what's your concept of God? Does God appear sometimes on earth? And how does he look like? And you can say, oh, let me read something for you, and open 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's read about Varahadev. This is our Supreme Lord. He looks like a boar, and he has big tusks, and he's roaring. What is this concept about God? I cannot understand. He's coming out of he likes to come out of the nose of the people. So the guy will say, okay, interesting. Never heard such explanation about God. So it will be very difficult. That's why, of course, first we have to explain more practical things to the people. But at some point, the people, they should come to the idea that, yes, if Shastra is saying it, I accept. Because Shastra, this is the words of God. God himself is describing himself. It's a very special knowledge. With our own endeavors, with our intelligence, we could never come to such kind of concepts about God. Like if we go to the concepts of God of some of the other spiritual teachings, religions in the world, yeah, they have concept about God, but it's very, generally it's very close to the human fantasy, what we would suggest that God is. What is God? Well, God is, he's a man, but he's very old because he's the first man. So that's why he's very old man. And because he's the wisest man, that's why he's very old. He has a big white beard. And suddenly we read the Vedas, and the Vedas are saying, no, God is the oldest one and he's the wisest one, but he looks like a 16-year-old boy. How is that? I cannot understand. Why he has to be old? Why he has to walk with a cane? Like, why? What's the problem? He's God. Why he has to suffer in this way? So amazing concepts. Who is God? Srila Prabhupada, one time that was at the time when the 5th canto came out. So Srimad Bhagavatam, this book has 12 volumes, we could say 12 cantos. And when the 5th canto came, there is given the description of the universe. This is also something far out. And many of the devotees who are not very firm in their Krishna conscious practice, who are not reading the books very much, they had the doubts when they read this, because they said, okay, the rest of the philosophy I kind of accept, but this is already too much. Like this I cannot accept. Many things, but there are some things which are very kind of controversial to our common sense logic in our mind. So when Srila Prabhupada heard about this, that some devotees, they cannot accept it, and because of that, they don't want to practice Krishna consciousness because it looks too phantasmagorial for them. And Srila Prabhupada commented, he said, I can understand if they don't have faith in what I'm saying. This I can understand because I'm a normal human. But how can they doubt in Shastra? Like Shastra, this is Krishna personified. These are the words of God. How it is possible that they are doubting what Shastra is saying? He couldn't figure it out. So as a devotees or practitioners of Krishna consciousness, this is one thing we cannot do. We cannot doubt in Shastra. We may not understand Shastra. We may have some doubts in our mind how this is so. This we can have because we are ordinary human beings. But we cannot doubt if this is true or not. It's not possible. This is like, for example, you are a professor of mathematics and you start saying that the whole basis of the mathematics, like the Pythagorean theorem and all the axioms and these are not true. So how you are a professor of mathematics? So if you don't accept the fundamentals of one movement or one philosophy, how you are part of this movement. That's the idea behind it. So doubts in Shastra we should not have. We can have doubts in ourselves that we are not qualified and we cannot understand what actually Shastra is saying or what Guru is saying, but not doubts in Shastra. And then the other topic I wanted to discuss a little bit in connection, especially to this pastime of Krishna as a boar, is first the point that generally the different spiritual teachings, they are dealing with the question, does God exist or not? Is it? Generally, like if you go to church or the mosque, always they are trying to convince the people that yes, God exists. Is it? Does God exist? Yes, God exists. Believe in God. Pray to God. But then if you ask the question, okay, but who is God? You will hear some description, some explanation, but rather very vague descriptions. Well, God, He is the Almighty. He's the all-powerful one. He is the omnipotent. He is the all-knowledgeable. Okay, that's good. He is the best. Everything. But who is He? This knowledge is not given to us. We don't know who is He. So there is not really much knowledge about God as a personality. Obviously, God is a person if He has qualities. If He has the quality of being all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent, these are qualities. If He has qualities, that means He's a person. But who is this person? We don't know that. So this is the great contribution of the Vedas. The Vedas are not just explaining and proving that there is God. There is no doubt about it. There is God. Now they are describing who this God is and what are His activities. As one spiritual master one time said, Srimad Bhagavatam is not just describing that there is God, but what God is doing, the activities of God. And this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Yes, other religious paths, other spiritual groups, they will accept that God is creating the universe, God is creating the world, and this is one of the activities of God. But if God is doing something in the spiritual world, there is not really much concept about this. If you go and speak with people, you see most people, they'll have the concept that in the spiritual world, the job of God is to fulfill the demands of us when we go there. He doesn't have any other job than this. So he's staying there on one throne, and we go there and we say, okay, my dear God, I did everything that you asked me to do for 60 years, 70 years. Now for eternally, you have to fulfill all my desires. And the God is saying, Tatastu, let it be so. That's the concept of God. And if He has a personal life, no, He doesn't have a personal life. What do you mean personal life? I have personal life. I will enjoy there. I'll have a nice family, nice wife, nice kids. I'll have a nice car, maybe. We will eat very nice food. I will enjoy life. But God, He will just help me to enjoy life. That's His job. He doesn't have any other thing to do. Now Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't agree with this. Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, no, God has many, many, many different things that He is doing. Yes, He's fulfilling your desires. He's taking care of you. But this is very neophyte way of dealing with God. Just like a small kid that goes to the parents and is saying, "Oh, my dear father, my dear mother, please give me $1 to buy a gum," or how you say this? Lollipop, yes. And then the father is saying, "Okay." And that's the relationship. There is no other relationship. But when the kid grows, it's supposed that there will be deeper relationships. There will be knowledge. Who are you? What are you doing? Let's do something together. Let's go somewhere together. So this is how it should happen in the spiritual life. And Srimad Bhagavatam is like a spiritual TV, like a spiritual cinema. On the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can suddenly enter into the spiritual world and see what's going on there. How Krishna is enjoying, with who he is enjoying, what are the things that he really likes to do. So basically you get amazing scientific knowledge about personal activities of God. You cannot find this anywhere else. And no wonder that some of these things, they will look amazing. Well, because Krishna himself is amazing. So he likes to do the things in an amazing way. Like, for example, when he decides to kill this demon, Keshi, he did it in a very interesting way. He could do it in so many different ways. He can just slap him and, okay, job done. But no, he said, why in this way? Yeah, let me just put my hand in his mouth and he'll get suffocated. It's very interesting. Can you taught someone to kill someone in this way? In any martial arts, I don't think there is such kind of technique. But Krishna, he likes to enjoy. He just likes to come up with new things because it's fun, isn't it? It's fun. Or like, for example, when the cowboys, they were passing through this huge snake, Agasura. And Agasura, he wanted to eat all the friends of Krishna and Krishna also. And Krishna could immediately do many things. Krishna is God. He can react. He can just snap with his fingers and he'll be dead. The demon will be dead. But he said, no, if I do it in this way, it won't be fun. We should have some drama, some intrigue, something interesting to happen. So now his energy is arranging the things in such a way that all his friends, they enter into the mouth of the demon. So now it becomes very interesting. What will happen? Krishna will save them, or maybe this time, no, maybe God, this time he won't be so powerful to save them. What will happen? It's very interesting. And then suddenly Krishna is also entering. Oh my God, all the demigods are watching and saying, that's the end. Now we are finished. If Krishna enters the demon, that's it. And suddenly, what is Krishna doing? Okay, let me just grow up a little bit. Okay, I'm small, I'm 5 years old, but why don't just prematurely grow up a little bit? And he started expanding so much that this demon cannot breathe anymore. And he just collapses. So Krishna likes to have these funs. Balaram also, when they went to this forest to get these fruits, what's the name? The Talavan forest, to get I forget the name of these fruits, but one of our teachers in Mayapur one time said that nowadays you can try the same fruits in Vrindavan. They have them and they sell them. He said the name of the fruits. I never tried. Bell fruit, no, it's not. He said it looks a little bit like a date, but it's a different thing. It's not date. He said the name. When we go there, we have to ask the locals. And so they said, okay, we have to get rid of these demons because they're not allowing normal people to come and eat the fruits. Like this, they should be for the benefit of everybody. And Krishna said, yeah, let's do it. And Balaram said, okay, let's do it. Let's get rid of these guys. And then they went there. How they kill them? They could kill them in every possible way. But Balaram decided, let's just enjoy a little bit. And he was taking these donkeys for their feet and like whirling them in the air and throwing them. And they were exercising who would throw them on a bigger distance. So it's a game, actually. They have to do the job, but just doing the job, killing the demon, it's not a fun. Let's do it in some more interesting way. It's a little bit like a basketball game. If you watch European basketball, everything is so boring because everything is about who will win. It's not, there is no the concept of we have to make it interesting. Now, if you go to NBA, wow, that's a different thing. Because the idea, okay, we are going to win, that's clear. We are good, we are going to win. But this is not enough. We have to do it in a special way. We have to make a show. So Krishna, he likes to make show because it's fun, it's interesting. And devotees, they should be in the same way. When they live their Krishna conscious life, it's not just a question of doing the things. Oh, now I have to chant my rounds. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Don't look at me, Prabhu. Now I'm very serious. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then we have to do Guru Puja. Shri Guru Chara, no, like they're on a funeral. No, it's a festival. It's a festival, just fiesta, singing, dancing. It should be like that. So whatever we have to do in Krishna consciousness, we have to do it, but with big smile. Thank you for your attention, dear devotees. Maybe we'll just stop here because it's already 9 o'clock, unless there is someone want to ask something or.
So I have a comment and a question. Krishna. So in the beginning, you were mentioning about the Sankirtan. Devotees, sometimes you just have to adjust according to and circumstance and see what is Krishna doing in the situation. So I was just in Ohio recently, and when we were driving to the event, I stopped and somehow the car then wouldn't shift. The shifter broke. So I couldn't shift it from park to drive to. So finally, somehow I got it out and I drove to the mechanic. And it so happened that the mechanic's wife was very interested in Krishna consciousness. So I ended up giving her a book and she was very appreciative. And we ended up speaking for some time. So that was Krishna's arrangement. And
I want to say also in this connection, yesterday it happened. I know how the Protestant Christians are saying here in America when they want to give a proof for the hand of God or existence of God. They have special word. In my country they have, but I don't know how it's translated in English. It's like you giving a special proof that God did some miracle. So yeah, like a testimony, something like that. So yesterday with Pamela, we had to go all the way to Coney Island because I had to arrange my ID, New York ID, but there was no any appointments here close. So the only option was to go there. So anyway, we said, okay, let's just go, let's do the job. But anyway, let's just get a few books because we never been there. Let's just see the place. It's an interesting place. Different place in New York. Check them out. So we did the job. We arranged the documents. And then we said, okay, it's kind of late, but okay, at least 1 hour. Let's just try to distribute some books. And I just started the Sankirtan. And maybe the second or the third person I saw, a young girl, and she was just staying there in front of the DMV. And I just approached her and said, hey, do you like to read? And we have nice books for yoga, meditation, we are monks. And she said, yeah, actually, I like to read. And I said, where are you from? She said, Pakistan. I said, oh, Pakistan, no. These people from Pakistan, they will never take a book. And I said, well, we have a yoga meditation books. Do you like? She said, yeah. I said, well, we have a Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard of Bhagavad Gita? She said, yeah. I said, do you have interest? She said, yeah. I said, wow, that's amazing. Okay, you want to take a book? She said, yeah. So she took a book and then everything was fine. She gave donation. Thank you very much. And then I left and just maybe 1 or 2 minutes later, a brother comes. Huge guy, maybe, I don't know, 250 pounds. Huge guy, muscular. And he's calling me from 5 meters. Excuse me. Can I ask you something? I was like, who is this guy? She said, I'm the brother of the girl. Oh. So my mind immediately made calculation. Pakistan, a big guy, the brother of the girl equals problem. Okay, let's see what will happen now. He just came to me and he said, you just distributed this book to my sister. And I said, yeah. And he said, thank you very much. What? He said, thank you very much. From Sometimes I'm very interested from all kinds of religions and scriptures and Shastra. So I'm trying to read them all. And you know what happened? I was just now looking to buy online a copy of Bhagavad Gita. And just my sister came with Bhagavad Gita. I was amazed. Thank you very much for this. So I just want to ask you a few general questions about the spirituality. Is that okay? Can we speak for 5 minutes? So I was like, wow, amazing. And then at the end, he was so grateful. And he said, I think God sent you today here to give us Bhagavad Gita. I said, maybe he sent me to arrange for my IDs, but I guess he's using me also for this. So it's like a testimony.
I guess my question is a how-to question. How to develop more faith in Shastra. We read Shastra every day. For us, we come every morning to the Bhagavatam class. Some of us, we try to read for an hour every day. But somehow it still seems that faith is lacking. How to become more faithful?
Well, my experience is that when we are listening Shastra from people who have great faith in Shastra, this comes in our heart. Like if we are reading just Shastra, it will be difficult. If we are reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada, this will inevitably bring this faith that Prabhupada has in our heart, because he has 100% faith in Shastra. And also if we associate with senior devotees, with our gurus, who also have this complete faith. Otherwise, how they are going to dedicate so fully their life just for the service of Krishna consciousness? How they are going to have this strong conviction that if I just do devotional service, Krishna will take care of everything in my life. Nothing will lack in my life. So if we associate with them, we will get the same faith. Thank you very much. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
His Grace Tulsi Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.